back to the only podcast that you love more than your parents. I'm Travis, and I'm here with Jen.
Hello, hello.
And if you're listening to this anytime soon, it's a new year. Yay. Congrats.
2025.
Amazing. If you're listening to this in the future, do we have flying cars yet? I would like to know. Thank you. Please drive around.
Keep us posted.
Yeah, we're back, and big holiday season passed. New Year's upon us, so of course we want to help creators grow their YouTube channels as we do here every single week. If you're new, welcome to the Boost/Tube Talk. We are really excited to have you here, and we're just going to answer some of your questions you've emailed in, as well as talk about some of the newest topics. And today, real quick, we'll get into some things that have been going on since the holiday season that we didn't get a chance to comment on. Number one, this whole honey scam. I don't know if you are familiar with this. Jen, do you know what honey is besides the thing that you eat? The very delicious, tender.
Very delicious honey. No, pretend I don't, though.
Okay, I will. But before that, do you know, isn't honey just bee throw up? Isn't that really what it is?
I don't actually know what it is. I mean, it's definitely from bees.
I think bees throw it up, but it's so tasty.
Bees throw up?
I mean, by the way, when it comes to foods like this, who was the first person that ever was like, a mushroom? That looks delicious. Like, I mean, honey.
I don't know. A mushroom gets me. Like, honey, though, the smell of honey, I would be like, yeah, I'll try that.
I'll try it. It's on a tree.
But, like, nobody smells a mushroom and they're like,
that's going to be
yum.
good. I don't know how the first person ever ate a mushroom or anything like that. Okay, anyway, back to honey. So honey is an extension, something you plug into your browser. And what's supposed to do, and this is actually, when I first heard about this, I'm like, this is a no-brainer of a plugin that I actually wanted to get sponsored by, ironically, because I'm like, this makes sense. So what it does is you install into your Chrome browser, and when you go to something like Amazon, it will tell you if what you're looking at is the lowest price, and if there is a lower price, it'll tell you where it is and potentially give you a coupon for it. So this sounds like a no-brainer. Like, this is something everyone would want. If you shop online, no-brainer, this is a great thing. And I remember, I think one of the first times I ever heard of honey was on, I think a Shane Dawson video many years ago. He was like, this is honey, it's sponsored by honey, and you can just find cheap stuff. And I'm like, this is amazing. Now, here's my experience. So I installed the honey app a long time ago. It's not an app, it's a plugin. I mean, to be clear, it's a browser plugin. I think I've saved a total of maybe $1.60 over the last 5 years. I mean, it never saves me any money. But here's what it does do that I do use on Amazon, which I like a lot. It will tell me the history of a price of something over the course of time. Now, this is important because if you go to Amazon, one thing you know, if something says it's on sale, you don't know if it's actually on sale, right? They say it's like $20 off, but it might have been $20. It might have been $30 off last week.
Yeah, you have no idea.
But this shows you the history of prices over the course of 6 months. So I like that. I like being able to go, okay, when's the lowest? As a matter of fact, that part has saved me money because I'll see if something continually goes on sale every couple of months or weeks, and then I'll just wait until it gets cheaper and then buy it then. So for that, it's great. So this sounds like a win-win-win, right? People are like, well, what's the controversy then? Okay, so here's the thing. And this really only affects creators in a way. The viewers don't really get affected by this. So what was happening was, if you are a content creator who's done a sponsored deal with pretty much anybody, they usually give you a link to use to download an app or software or go to a website, and that link is usually targeted so that people can tell, when they invest in your channel by sponsoring your content, that they know that a click came from your video, not just the interwebs, right? So when you install honey, what's happening is, if you have an affiliate link, let's say, and I've used affiliate links many times, like you have an affiliate link for an Amazon thing, right? And someone who goes to your website or goes to your YouTube channel, maybe watches you do a review of, I don't know, Jen, what would you do a review of if you had a review channel?
Review channel?
Yeah, what would you review?
Oh, what would I review?
Jen reviews.
Something like kitchen related, like baking pans.
Okay. So Jen's baking pan review.
Travis can bake his cake. I'll review the pan.
That's right. So you go to Jen's YouTube channel, and she is reviewing a baking pan, right? And she goes, you know what? Links in the description below, and you can buy one. And you're like, I want exactly the same pan that Jen has. So you click that link. and it comes up and you're like, cool. And because it's an affiliate link, Jen will get a little bit of a cut of whatever you spend at Amazon. Now, the price doesn't go up. It's the same price as it would be otherwise, but Jen gets credit for telling you about it. So you go buy it, she gets credit for it, right? And she gets money from Amazon. Well, let's say you have Honey installed and you click that link and you go there, and Jen is the reason that you know about this pan. But now the Honey link goes, hey, this thing is actually 20% off if you click this or if you do this. The minute you do that, it is now swapping the cookie. So, of course, now we're talking about web cookies and stuff. Google it if you want.
It's on theme for the baking.
Exactly. It is very much on theme. It switches it out and then gives Honey the credit. Now, in a vacuum, if the person had found that product on Amazon or whatever without going to Jen's video, I have no problem with them getting credit for it. Of course, they're saving you money. Of course they should. The problem is Jen sent you to that. And now they're stealing, if you want to look at it that way, her credit / her money for making you want that pan. And now Honey, who had nothing to do with anything, is now getting that money. And that's the big controversy. There is another side of it where apparently they're like bullying retailers and stuff, but that's kind of outside of the purview of what we're talking about. What we're talking about here is the fact that it is taking money away from the creators who were sponsored by Honey. Now, furthermore, actually, even if you aren't sponsored by Honey, because technically, even if you aren't sponsored by Honey, this same situation that I just explained could happen. Now what's happening is Legal Eagle on YouTube is suing Honey. Class action lawsuit.
This is what I was waiting for.
Save the drama for your mama. Holy monkey. That's big news.
It's a lot. That's a big deal. We've seen like the biggest creators on the platform work with Honey.
Yeah, and I think even Think Media has joined it, I believe, too. If I remember correctly. Yeah, I think, let's see. Yeah, it looks like Sean Cannell and the Charismatic Voice have joined the lawsuit. That's crazy. Now,
yeah.
Let's talk a little about this. What do we think? What are your overall thoughts about this as this started to unravel?
I mean, it's pretty shocking that, I don't know. I just feel like it's been a long time. Like, why has nobody noticed this?
It took.
That was my first thing. Like, someone told me about it before I saw any videos about it, and I was like, well, what the heck has everyone been doing? Like, you don't know you're not getting paid? Like,
yeah, I think it was just one of those things that people weren't really paying close attention. Or they didn't. I don't know. Like, this smaller channel. Well, I don't want to say smaller because I think the channel's like 700,000 subscribers. Actually exposed this, and then it's been kind of big news since then. As Mark MKBHD did a video on it. Now, of course, all these bigger YouTubers are doing videos on it. Now it's a huge deal.
We need a creator to come out with one of the like official lawsuit commercials. It's like, if you've been affected by Honey in the years of 2024, you are entitled to compensation.
And if you've fallen and can't get up, we have a number for you as well. Oh my gosh.
Can we get a Honey hotline going? Like, let's go.
Oh my gosh. It's so funny. Yeah. So just the TLDR from all of this is Honey bad? Well, I mean, for yes and no. So if you're a creator, it can be bad. Like if you do affiliate sales, it can be bad. If you don't do any affiliate sales, you are you have no problems and no issues. There is a secondary thing where allegedly they are bullying retailers into doing some stuff. I didn't really watch that part of the video because it's not directly related to us. But right now they're being vilified. So we'll see what happens at the end of this. We'll keep an eye on it and see if it affects anything else. But a lawsuit by a YouTuber who's also a lawyer makes this a very interesting and compelling bit of news.
It's fun news when worlds collide.
Yeah. Let's talk about this potential TikTok ban real quick. Now, the thing is, we can't go into too much detail because this is a ever evolving thing, but we do want to mention it because it's supposed to happen this month. Will it get banned in the U.S.? I think, as the days count down, currently, as we sit today, it is supposed to be banned before the end of the month. Without going into politics, that might change by the end of the month. Anything is possible here. So what we're going to talk about here is, at least for right now, we're only going to do a small segment here because we don't want to get too deep into it until it either happens or doesn't happen. There are two scenarios. Well, there's a couple scenarios. Number one, it goes through, in which case you're going to see a lot of short form creators come to YouTube, which means shorts and everything are going to blow up even more. even more than they already are. Number 2, it doesn't go through and really nothing changes. Number 3, it doesn't go through because of some financial situations that go on and they divest or whatever, and nothing changes. So really, it's either everything changes or nothing changes in the matter of a couple of weeks. It's a big deal in the content creation community, and it's something that we at least need to acknowledge. It's something that we will be making videos on the main YouTube channel, but I think also we need to be cautious because there's still so much in the air about this. Your general thoughts. I know you're not a short form lover of anything, so this probably doesn't affect you as much. However, you have seen the power of short form content as well.
It's true. I think that if TikTok is no longer, I think YouTube will be divided very heavily. That's kind of just like the overall thing I see happening.
Yeah, I mean, what about your content creators? How many of your content creators that you coach use TikTok?
Probably most of them. Specifically, I work with creators prioritizing long form content. And if I do get a shorts creator in, I probably refer them to a different coach because it's just not as much as in my strategy. And now that we have coach matching, it's super easy to make it very clear which coach you want to work with and prioritize, what you really need. So I don't work, of course I help people with shorts, but I don't really have shorts channels. So does everyone put out shorts? Yes. Does everyone upload them on every platform? Yeah. Why not? It's literally the same piece of content. But in terms of what that strategy would look like as a whole channel, I don't have anyone direct where that is their concern.
Has anyone even mentioned?
I was going to say you were muted.
Yeah. Has anyone even mentioned as far as being a concern, like that they're concerned with what's going to happen?
Not to me, no. I know that some of the coaches who work with some really, really great shorts creators probably have more of that conversation. But at the same time, they're already here on YouTube, already doing what they would do anyways, even if it doesn't go through. Like they have a jump start on it.
That's a smart way to do it. Again, depending on when you're listening to this podcast, it's either happened or hasn't, and you already kind of know what's going on. We're just kind of broaching it just so people know going into New Year. Okay, what's the layout of everything? I also want to mention one other thing before we get into the questions. I've talked to a lot of creators lately, and people are wondering why their views are down. Everyone's views are down across entirely random niches. YouTube at large, I've seen a lot of views down across channels. So if you're seeing your views down, you're wondering what's going on. It's not just you. It's entire portions of YouTube. Don't know exactly what's going on other than, maybe the viewership just isn't there as much. Hard to say. This sort of thing happens every so often, every couple of years for a couple of months, views are down and people are like, oh, it's the end of YouTube. It's not the end of YouTube. This is just another thing that happens.
This is always a downtime on the platform.
January is, but November and December usually are really good, and they weren't this year. So we'll see. Anyway, look, it's not something to worry about. I think I just say that to say, don't worry. All right. Oh, I forgot. We haven't been on the, oh my gosh, I haven't logged into so many things in so long that everything's logged me out. It's like, do you still live? Oh my gosh, I didn't even see these. I forgot that we actually have voice text messages that we can do messages for. So real
text
quick,
messages, let's go.
If you're listening to
just getting in the swing of things here. What is this?
Forgot. Back from December 17th, we got a text message. So let's go ahead and go to these. All right. So if you're listening to the audio podcast, there's a text message you can send. The link's in the show notes. Let's read this first one. New to YouTube and have not started a channel yet. Let me just stop there. We have so many listeners where this is the case. It's insane. It's insane.
They want the deeper scoop. They want the real inside information.
Yeah.
Not just the how to start a channel, but like, what am I getting myself into?
Yeah. I'm struggling between which channel to start. I want to start a channel teaching women over 40 how to start crafting for the home.
Yes.
Or just to relax. But I also have started a journey of getting back into shape, and I have 80 pounds that I want to lose, but also want to share about what I'm doing with that. Any suggestions as to Which way to go to combine this to be one channel? I guess I'm just in the beginning in my head about everything. That's a good question.
Just nope.
Just nope for everything.
Nope to the last part, 100%. Just nope.
Yeah, I mean, losing weight and teaching people over 40 for crafting for the home are really kind of two different things. Unless you want to go vlog style. And I'll be honest, as a new, smaller creator, that's an uphill grind that you may not be interested in. Thoughts about this one specifically, Jen? Which one sounds more intriguing to you?
I think the longevity of crafts is 1,000% somewhere to lean into for the long run. I mean, you lose the weight, that's great. Then you either have to gain the weight back to lose it again,
right, exactly.
or people aren't going to get sick of a maintenance channel. I see fitness creators plateau for years because nobody cares about maintenance that much.
Yeah.
People are trying to actively grow more muscle, lose fat, like accomplish a very specific goal. So unless you're like one of those fitness people that's constantly cycling between, bulking and cutting and trying all different kinds of things, then it's great. Documenting your weight loss journey would be super inspiring to so many people, but there's kind of just limited plans after that.
Yeah, weirdly, this would be the perfect month for it because it's January when everyone's trying to lose a little weight, right? But then after that, the fall off might be demoralizing.
It's also tough because you're sharing something where like you're not going to succeed 100% of the time with that.
Yeah.
And I wish you to.
Yeah,
100%.
Sure.
But that is very, very taxing versus a craft channel. Here's the start of my craft. Here's the end of my craft. Here's a couple struggles I had along the way. The weight loss process is such a longer process. To get a video out a week is you may not have any progress that week. Which is totally okay too, but when it comes from a title and thumbnail standpoint, it's a much more advanced strategy to be working on.
Yeah, I agree. And again, it could be very inspiring, but by the same token, what happens when you're skinny? That's what Jen just said.
You accomplished all your goals. You're feeling great.
You're great now. Now what? Dang. But the crafting thing can go on forever. You can
YouTube
be a crafting
doesn't
wizard.
care that you're great.
Yeah, no one cares anymore. All right, so let's get to this next one. I've been listening to your podcast. My husband and I are huge YouTube watchers. We are considering creating our own channel.
Yes.
We do almost all of our YouTube watching on our phones, and we are in our 50s. I often don't understand some of your comments about the YouTube homepage, as it sounds like you think most people watch on a computer, and that's a different layout. Okay, no, that's not what I mean, but let's keep going. Does YouTube show you the stats of what type of devices your audience is listening to watch your videos? I'm thinking more people using their phones than anything else. If your audience is more younger, tech savvy, using a phone for watching, does any of your advice change for growing your channel? Okay, so yes, it does give you analytics about that. And when I say homepage, the homepage is where most of the views on YouTube come from, which is the home feed. So the very first feed that you open up when you open your phone is the home page. On YouTube, on the desktop, it's the very first page, youtube.com. That's the home page. So that's what we're talking about. I'm not sure what you think I was saying, but that's what I
think web browser. They probably don't realize that it doesn't matter if you're on an iPad, a phone, a TV. When you open YouTube, that's your homepage.
Yeah, that's your homepage. So, and the reason why it is so important is because that's the first thing everyone sees, right? So you're competing with everyone else in that moment, which includes other niches. It's the thing we don't talk about a lot in here. Maybe we should, especially when it comes to thumbnails and titles. Because most views come from the recommendation engine, which again includes the homepage, it's super important to make sure that you understand that just because you have the best thumbnail and title in your niche does not mean you are competing very well against the other niches that are literally on the homepage. It's so important to understand that. Like, you've got to win the click over everything else on that homepage. Super important. So that's what that means. I think it's great that you guys are YouTube to watch. You should totally make a channel. I think that sounds amazing and awesome and incredible.
1,000%.
And
you'll never be successful at YouTube if you don't watch YouTube. So you already have that.
Absolutely.
Like, hands down.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely need to do that. I think it'll be lots of fun and certainly really interesting for you as a couple. I think it might be really cool depending on what's going on. Okay, let's see. Hello, Travis, Jen, and team at vidIQ. Looking at using more AI tools in 2025 to further streamline my creative flair and editing. My kids start school this year, and I go from 2 6-hour days to research, script, record, and edit and do the social reels, blah, 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 called The Ultimate Farm Wife and Absolutely Fabulous. Okay. A loss of 4 hours to two. Okay. Yeah. So she's losing 4 hours because of all the things. On top of the 2 podcasts, I'm a farmer, farm wife, mom of 4 kids, 5-year-old and younger. Oh my gosh. Is Captions AI twin app safe to use? I don't know what that is, so I don't want to give recommendations on that. What other apps would you recommend? I'm already using ChatGPT and Opus Clip. Well, obviously, you want to use the AI tools that vidIQ has, which help you create a thumbnail, help you come up with ideas. I don't know what else you would really want to use.
Yeah, I think even just I'm talking about using things for captioning. Why?
Yeah, YouTube does that automatically unless there's a specific reason.
Yeah.
And they're already using AI to do that, so it's like...
Yeah, they're already doing that for you. I don't know if people know. I don't know if people know that. I've had that conversation several times. Like, it's different than like putting text on screen to enhance something funny you're saying, depending on what niche you're in, to just have effects. But captioning like a whole video is not like they do that for us.
Yeah, so I wouldn't bother with that. I think things to auto editing tools and stuff. It really kind of depends on how you do it. Like, we use Riverside for the podcast here, and it makes it really easy because it can edit out a lot of things super simple, right on the platform, and then you just export it right from you record it and export it like all on the same platform. So that's really nice. Maybe looking at tools like that to help shorten the amount of time you have to take per video.
I think that's a good way to put it. Shorten the workload, not to do the workload. Because let's remember, nothing AI suggests should be finalized for YouTube. AI titles are not meant to stay that way. AI thumbnails probably need a little bit of an edit. Like, all of these things are meant to then be optimized for a human, not just copy paste.
Super, super critical. I'm a small Minecraft gaming channel, and I mostly post videos on the servers that I'm in, and they usually get 200 to 300 views. However, whenever recently I've gotten 2 shorts that have gotten 11K views and over 80 subscribers. I was wondering, should I stick to the long form and grow really slowly, or pivot to shorts because it seems I can do better at those, and my audience seems to watch them more than my long form. Also, candy corn is A-tier candy. Okay, well, now I don't believe this person.
Travis said, okay, goodbye. We're not going to help you.
Exactly.
I will help you. You are A-tier. I think this is a great conversation. I think this is something that often happens to a lot of creators that are new on the platform. You see success with something and you want to just chase the views without thinking about what is your actual goal. And I think that this falls a lot of times between long form content and short form content. Long form content being like this person identified, just very difficult in comparison. And the timeline that it takes to grow longs versus shorts is very different as well. So do you kind of jump ships? Do you now become a shorts creator? Well, what's the goal? That's what it always has to come back to. If you're, on the platform and you're trying to make money, then no. Then no. If you're trying to build a community, then no. If you're trying to experiment with new styles of content, like you said, these couple videos got some really great views. Is that an idea you now want to run with for long form content because the experiment worked and there's more interest? That would be a good idea then to experiment with shorts for that. But it always comes down to the goal, and a view is not just a view. They're very different between the two.
Yeah, 100%. And again, it also depends, and I say this a million times. Anyone who's listened to this show has heard me say this a million times. It depends on what you're trying to accomplish. If you just want to see the numbers go up, shorts are obviously the way to go.
Shorts, baby.
Shorts, baby, shorts. If you like to see that number go up, your subscriber number go up, your views go up.
And there's
shorts,
nothing
baby,
wrong with that. Sometimes you need a little ego boost. Throw some shorts out there. You
Nothing
get it.
wrong with it.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. Exactly right. But if you really want to build a community, which a lot of people do, I know it was always one of the top things for me. Long form is definitely the way to go. It's easier to care about a creator when you spend more time with them per video. It's just a natural human thing. Long form is the way. It does not mean you have to choose one or the other. You can do both. You absolutely can do both. And maybe you should, especially first starting out, to kind of, to kind of get the reps in, so to speak. You got to remember, like, for most YouTubers, shorts weren't a thing. So they were only doing long form stuff. Shorts is a newer thing over the last 3 or 4 years. When you look at the life of YouTube, hundreds of thousands or millions of creators before shorts ever came out, they were doing other things. They were doing long form content, live streams, stuff like that. The shorts weren't even an option, but now they are. So I think you sprinkle that on top. Now, you could just be just a shorts creator. Those are out there. Absolutely can be successful with that. And success looks different for those than it does for long form. Definitely wouldn't stir you away from one or the other. I would say, do whichever one you're having the most fun with, because at this point, like, fun is where it's going to keep you moving forward. If you do a channel that's super successful, but you're miserable making it, I'm going to tell you, you're going to burn out. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not worth your time.
It's just, it looks different in those early stages, though. And that's what I think confuses a lot of newer creators. Mm-hmm. You see 11K views as a short, which is like awesome. When we scale that to 11K views on a long, like, those are astronomically different worlds. 11K views on a long is such an incredible goal. And the differences that you've accomplished from that number, like a direct conversion, is very, very different.
Yes.
Versus, I don't know what, we should come up with a formula where it's like this many views equals this many shorts views.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought. I mean,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, yes, you see that 11K views in shorts, but that doesn't mean that you haven't accomplished the same thing, if not better, with 300 views in your long form content.
Wow. What a way to say that. That's
But it's hard
well
to
said.
realize because we're looking at numbers, and a bigger number is better.
Yes. Such a poignant thing. I love the way you said that. Absolutely accurate.
On fire for 2025.
All right, let's get into the emails. If you want to send us an email, it's theboost@vidIQ.com, theboost@vidIQ.com. And this subject says, do I have a 5-minute audience? This is very interesting. Hi, Jen.
Do you? Wait, this is my favorite topic for 2025 YouTube is timestamp. So let's hear it.
Okay, here we go. I've been digging into my YouTube analytics, and I think I discovered something interesting. My average view duration has only gone up by about a minute since I started my channel back in 2013. When I set the time period to lifetime in the top right corner of the analytics page, my view duration went from 350, and as I lowered the period, the last year or so, average view duration started to go up. However, in no case did it go above 530, regardless of if the video was 20 minutes long. Does this mean I have a 5-minute audience? Does it mean I should just stick to making 5-minute videos? What's the use of making longer videos if people aren't going to watch them anyhow? Finally, can you recommend a good video about YouTube analytics? I feel like the keys to the kingdom are in there. Have a great Christmas and many blessings to you. So, I've done videos on analytics before. I don't remember which ones I've posted here versus where I've talked about them other places. I love talking about YouTube analytics. Let's just answer the question.
We should do like an hour-long video, like breaking down analytics from like a single video.
We absolutely should do that, as a matter of fact.
Like everything that we would look into and check and make assumptions about.
Not only that, the things to ignore, because you don't need to see everything. We will do that next episode. Let's do that next episode. Okay. So, what does it mean to be a 5-minute audience? So his view duration has never gone above 5 minutes. He's saying, so does that mean I only have a 5-minute audience? No. So there's a couple of things here. Number one, the key to the word is average view duration.
Thank you.
Average. Does not mean that a lot of people didn't get to the end. It just means that, and to give you an extreme example, if 10 people watch your video and most of them watch, like, let's say it's a 10-minute video, most people get to 10 minutes, but one person comes on and watches 5 seconds, the average view duration goes down to like 5 minutes or something because it's an average. Again, it's an average. We think of that as like, I get the confusion between median and average. I know they're like different, but the same kind of thing. But we seem to think that means everyone's only watching for 5 minutes. No. An average means all the lows and all the highs and what's in the middle of that. And that is not always indicative of what's happening when most people watch your video. Now, you also have to remember, the more exposure your video gets to new viewers, the shorter that's going to be because they don't know you, right? Once they know you, they tend to watch longer. So one thing you could look at is look at the view duration of people who are subscribed and people who are unsubscribed. And you can see that in the watch time analytics if you're really interested. This will tell you the difference between someone who's kind of more invested in you and someone who's maybe not as invested in you. And that will give you a pretty good indication. And this is a per video thing, but you could do it channel wide, but I would do it per video. This will give you an indication, a better indication of how long like your audience really is paying attention. And what I always say is, if you have a video if you have people that come at least for 5 minutes all the time, pretty consistently, your video should be 7 minutes or so-ish. If you try to make a 5-minute video, your view duration is going to be 2.5 minutes or 2 minutes or something like that. It's not going to be 5 minutes, because if it was going to be 5 minutes, you would have 100% retention on whatever video it was anyway, right? So your view duration would be longer. So if you're getting a good, first of all, it's not easy to get 5-minute retention. It is not. But I go for at least 2 minutes or so more than what your retention is, generally speaking, for shorter term stuff. What do you tend to say and see in a situation like this?
I think that when we think of, like you're saying this, like we see this time frame, 5 minutes, and then what I see in this person thinks is like a 5 minutes, every person's clicking off his video. Like, goodbye, I'm done. Or 3 minutes, whatever the actual number was. But we would see that in the retention graph. If you only had a 5-minute audience, you would see your retention graph, and then all of a sudden at like 4:59, it would go boop, just straight drop off down to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And that's definitely not the case. I would look at retention. I literally just had a conversation this morning with one of my creators where they were talking about one of their videos. Around the 7-minute mark, there was like a large explosion. And they were like, wow, it was kind of like the climax of the video. It's like, wow, I really thought that the average view duration would have been past that explosion. And then I looked into the video, and because he is a larger creator, I can see the retention graph on the screen since I do not have access to their analytics. And I saw the most replayed, largest spike section at 7 minutes, meaning everyone not only watched it again, or questionably skipped ahead to it. So it was without a doubt seen, but the creator was in the same mentality where the number didn't line up with the part of the video, so therefore thinking that nobody watched it.
Well, it's funny. We've tested this theory in a previous video of ours, Jen. I don't know if you remember this.
What did we do?
I think we did it on the main channel, where we did a let us know in the comments, hashtag this or that. I don't remember exactly what it was.
Oh, yeah. I think we've done this a couple times.
Yeah. It's at the very end of the video. And when you look at the comments, and there's tons of people that the only place you could see that is at the end of the video. And we know in the comments, just by looking at like how many people were there, that the average view duration might say, oh, the average view duration stopped 5 minutes before that. But we got tons of people who only know about this hashtag or will answer the question only based off the last 10 seconds of the video. So again, it's an average. It's good to know, kind of generally speaking, but it's an average. So no, you're the people who are watching are probably watching longer.
Go look at your retention graphs. You'll see where people are stopping watching.
Absolutely. Listen, I can talk about attention graphs darn near all day. All right. Next email.
Darn near all day. Let's
darn near.
Expose some of our retention graphs.
Ours are pretty
analytics
good.
Episode.
Yeah, we're jumping on that for sure. Hello, vidIQ crew. Got a couple questions I can't find the answer to. Look at that. He's a poet and don't know it. Okay. I was going through my analytics yesterday. I swear to goodness, I did not pick this.
You staged this.
I didn't. I swear I didn't
staged this
like this in the email. I swear they did. I didn't even read them. And this strange icon appeared above my chart of views for the past month, saying that my videos are up 48%, mainly due to people watching videos outside of YouTube. After looking into it, I found that some of my best videos weren't actually getting views from YouTube, but 50 to 85% were coming from Google search or other external sites. For at least 4 videos that this has happened and showed up as the first result when you Google them, even though they are heavily saturated topics. They don't show up anywhere else on the top of YouTube search. My question is, does this affect my videos in any way? My videos have gotten almost as many impressions, but the click-through rate is terrible and YouTube isn't recommending it to anybody. Should I be worried about this? Okay, that's the first question. So let's real quick answer that. I've seen this a lot. I've specifically tried to rank on Google through YouTube and been successful before. It again depends on what you're trying to accomplish. I was trying to accomplish a affiliate sale thing, which was perfect for Google to be one of the top ranking things, and it worked very well. It's not something you should worry about. It's also nothing you can control.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, you can't do anything about it besides take that video down if you don't like it.
That's the problem. Yeah. Even if you wanted to do something about it, there's nothing you can do about it. So
There you go. Stress be gone.
Stress be gone. Nothing you can do about it. And no, you should not be worried about it. Okay, for the second question, is it normal for people to lose advanced features so often? I'd applied for advanced features back in January because a lot of my videos had links in the description that were very necessary, and a lot of other advanced features like timestamps and pinned comments are quite nice. Around August, I got a message that my advanced features were taken away to keep the community safe or something. I didn't have time to reapply for them until the beginning of December. I got advanced features back when I got an email saying I lost them for the same reason before. I have no idea what this is.
No idea what this is either. I was literally going to say, I was like, I'm not going to lie, Travis. I feel dumb. I've never even heard of this before.
I have never heard of this before. I wish I had an answer for you. I would reach out directly to YouTube, maybe on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it, and find out what that. I've never heard of this. He says it's happened 3 times, but he gets it back each time. So like, what's going on? That's a great question. I don't know what's going on.
That's the weirdest thing. Well, I saw a creator wake up with a check next to their name at 80K. Well, and I was like, hey, what happened here? And they're like, I don't know. I woke up and YouTube gave me a check. No, didn't apply for anything.
So there are some people that know people that can get checks early, but I've never.
You can apply for verification if you have the business to back it.
Sure. I've never heard of someone just randomly getting one.
Woke up 80 and change, maybe 89. And I like went to congratulate them. I saw them pop up on suggestion. I saw a check and I said, oh my God, they hit 100K. And then I looked and then I messaged them. I was like, what have we got going on here? They're like, no, I just woke up with it. I woke up like this.
I woke up with success. I just woke up and I was successful. Thank you very much.
Hello, 2025.
Formed the queue to the left. Oh my god.
YouTube's on some wild stuff. Also, sorry, I have to keep drinking my water.
That's all right, me too.
I've been sick like the whole world.
Oh my gosh, everyone has. Okay, here is another email. This one's by Barrett. Hello there, Jen and Travis. I've been really enjoying going through the back catalog for the past week. Thank goodness you guys have been going through the back catalog. We have lots of back catalog. I actually noticed, I haven't told Jen this because I only just now found out when I was looking through the stuff. A lot of people apparently were going through our back catalog while we were gone, which is great.
That's good.
I didn't know that. I was just looking at the numbers. I'm like, whoa, where did they come from? I guess people were listening to stuff during the holiday season. That's great. All right. I run a channel for our CPA firm. Wait a minute. Didn't CPA do taxes and stuff? Because I got my taxes coming up.
I have worked with a few tax channels.
Oh, you have? Oh,
I have,
see what
yes.
they say. Okay, well, let's see what they say here. And I've specialized in successful planning a family business. We're at 68 subs, about 10 months in, and my average views average about 30 views in their first month. I also started a podcast this summer, same channel, called The Art of Succession, interviewing business owners purchasing their companies. My question is how to encourage and build a community. My video might get a few likes. I can't tell who's left those. I got multiple methods of leaving feedback for our podcast and long form videos, but I don't get any interaction, not through comments, contact forms. I share most of our videos on LinkedIn, get a couple likes and things there, but few click through to the actual videos. I know one of the signals of success is dedicated fan base, interacted with comments and signs like they like and don't like. So far from my small channel, I'll get comments from peers that are intrigued that I have a channel, but very little interaction from people actually watching it. Do I have the wrong expectations for a channel for a brick and mortar professional service? Interesting. I came over from the main channel after binging most of the standard tips over the past year. Now I just enjoy hanging out and listening to you both riff on YouTube tactics. Wow. I love that.
Too, the evolution of the main channel
over to us. Yeah. That's fantastic, Barrett. Thank you.
That's great.
He said something here that I'm like, how do I answer this? Because I have an answer that I immediately want to say, and I'm going to need you to curb me in case I'm wrong here, Jen. Do I have the wrong expectation for a channel for a brick and mortar professional services business? I want to say yes immediately, but you can't blanket an answer like that. Like that's a blanket statement. It's like a blanket answer for something that doesn't have a blanket answer. In other words, if you are the YouTube channel for Walmart, you should probably not expect a whole bunch of really cool community members. People are going to say, I went to Walmart and a baby threw up on my clothes and it was terrible and I hate Walmart. Like you probably
It sounds like a Walmart experience. I'm not going to lie. I love Walmart, but it sounds very
Walmartish.
Wait, do you remember when Walmartians was a really big thing?
No, but a People of Walmart website I remember. I don't remember Walmartians.
Walmartians rip off daily calendars and stuff.
Oh my God, no. I've not seen that. I saw the People of Walmart
I'll
website
get you
way
one
back
for
in the
your
day.
birthday. Don't worry.
Send me one, please. Yes. That's interesting. But yeah, so yes and no. The thing is, okay, so let's go back to what, first of all, he's a CPA, right? So you said you've worked with like channels like this. What has been your advice? What has been your experience with these channels? What are they experiencing? Similar, different, same?
I mean, it's a true seasonal growth, and you have to have something else to fill in the time because nobody cares about their taxes in, June.
Yeah, they're
We
saying
don't have to think about that till next year.
succession planning and family business. First of all, I keep reading Succession. I think it means something else, but like the art of
Family
succession.
planning is interesting because that's definitely an active year-round thought.
Yeah, I think it depends on what the how it is being presented. It's a dry subject. I'm going to just say it. That does not mean it's a bad subject. It means it's dry, which means you gotta moisten it up a little bit. You gotta throw some water on it because it's like beef jerky, and you gotta. Is this working, Jen? Is what I'm saying coming
beef
through?
Beef jerky, yum.
Yeah, to the vegan, I'm saying this too. So okay, I think it can be fun. Like you can make it fun.
Do we know what kind of content they're actually making?
Well, so again, he says that it's about like he has a podcast too. He says they just specialize in. He doesn't say specifically, but he just says that it's about family businesses and succession planning, which I don't. I assume it means like getting yourself financially prepared for success in the future and stuff, which is great. I mean, it's actually very important. Probably one of the more important niches you can have.
Yes.
Building a community around it is interesting, I think, but difficult.
I think that I think you could lean into it in ways that could make sense. I mean, I'm just thinking like I've had so many finance creators. Like I've had envelope stuffing creators. I've had actual like how to do your tax creators. I've had, of course, like the guru side hustle creators. All of them could be qualified the same, but the type of content you're making matters in this situation. Are you talking to, lower middle class who's trying to get ahead on their finances for their family? Are you talking specifically to people who are just trying to save for their kids' college funds? Like, it has to be specific, and it has to attract a very, I would say, small amount of people right now. Because we have enough of the, your $1 million side hustle to your new job for your family. Like I think people are in a world right now where they're like, yeah, that's not gonna happen for me. But it's like, oh, can I put away an extra $1,000 a month for my family with like real actionable advice for the position I'm in right now? That's something. But again, this comes back to your audience.
I wish I knew a little bit more about their content, but it's the line that we walk on this podcast where we don't want to go too deep in any one particular thing because we want to give everyone kind of an answer here. For me, I would say look at other people in your niche and see how they're presenting the information you're presenting. If there should be other people in your niche. And see if there's maybe a disconnect there between the way you're doing it and the way they're doing it. Maybe they're more personal. Maybe they're more straight-laced, because sometimes people don't want personality when you talk about money and stuff. They just want the straight-laced thing, and maybe you're being too loose. So it could be the opposite, right? Just pay attention to those things and see who's creating the content that's doing the best, and then figure out a way to give your own twist on kind of that take of content. Okay, two more. Hi there, I am a Lego YouTuber, and I feel like we get the short end of the stick because we seem to have to purchase the expensive Lego sets. No money equals no Legos. No Legos equals no video. No videos equals no subs.
You know what? This is YouTube. I want to say that you are, but I think the term like sometimes you gotta spend money to make money is.
I'll talk about this in a minute. I'll tell you about my first couple of weeks as a tech YouTuber in a minute. Just to make videos. I'm talking about unmonetized channels like myself. I'm on SSI, disabled, so my income is very fixed and low. I've tried other things, but nothing seems to work. What can I do? Should I just give up or keep trying? I don't want to purchase unofficial Legos since they're cheaper, but I don't seem to have a choice. I feel like I should stay official Lego. What are your thoughts? Thank you. P.S. I was contacted by a year ago about telling my story, how I was homeless and how I started my YouTube. I am no longer homeless. Wow, I am also a USAF veteran. Hey, thanks for
That's
your
amazing.
incredible service. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this. This is interesting. I can give my
love this because he's already identified several problems that he could make content about.
And weird solutions too. That is like, I know I could do that, but I don't want to do that. So as a tech YouTuber, when I very first started my channel a long time ago, I didn't have a whole bunch of extra money to get into tech either. I was like, and no one was sending me stuff at the time. So, and this is the God's honest truth. I remember one of the first weekends, I'm like, okay, I need to get a bunch of things to review. First of all, I looked around the house for anything that I had that was tech related I could review. Ironically, a thing that I had sitting around my house for over a year ended up getting the most views I had on my channel for the first 2 or 3 years I had my channel. I had like 400,000 views. And it was based on something I had that was a year old. But I remember going around and going to like Big Lots and even Dollar Tree, just trying to find anything tech related that was inexpensive that I could buy and review. I'm like, let me just put something. I just want to put stuff up. But again, I found that something that was already in my house did the best, which was really interesting. It was very, very eye-opening for me. So in the case of here, there's, you're a Lego YouTuber on a budget. And I'm going to tell you one thing that I guarantee is true. You are not the only one. And to me, that is the actual hook of your channel. The budget Lego YouTuber. And I bet you not as many channels are talking to those viewers that are on a budget but love Legos. Like, what kind of cool thing can you take parts from your existing Legos to make one of the set that looks very similar to one of the newer sets that are out there? Or, how do you put something together with what you have to make it seem like that expensive things you never can get? What was a really expensive toy when you were growing up that maybe you wanted? I can tell you a couple of mine, but it would tell you how old I am.
I'm going to age myself too.
Go ahead, do it. But yeah, but you're younger, so it doesn't matter. But go ahead.
All my American Girl doll stuff was so expensive.
What's American Girl? What is that?
Honestly, when you say like what American Girl dolls are, I don't even know if they still exist, to be honest, is very strange. They are like dolls set in like a war era.
What kind of a toy is this?
Literally, they have these backstories. Like one of them was like, I mean, it has to do with so many different historical references.
What is going on?
Through like slavery, through the wars. I mean, there's so much.
Jen, what in the world was your childhood? But you couldn't afford it, right? You were like, I want one of them.
American Girl dolls are literally so expensive, and all their accessories are so expensive. And I just wanted this little violin it was like a real violin for like a doll though.
You didn't even want the doll. You just wanted the violin.
No, I had the doll. I eventually got the doll, but like all of the things that you could play with the doll were so expensive.
Jeez Louise. Oh my God. Okay.
Like so expensive.
So I remember a couple of things when I was growing up. Some of it was Star Wars toys, but the one thing that I was like as a young kid, so excited for and knew I would never get and never did get was the G.I. Joe aircraft carrier. And I guarantee there's people listening to this right now that are older that are like, I wanted that too. Or someone's like, I had that or whatever. Bro, if you could own one of those, you were the most popular kid in school. 100%. The thing was 6 feet long. And this was back in the days of G.I. Joes being like, 3.5 inches tall or whatever. This 6 foot long thing. I see it every once in a while on like toy YouTube channels and whatnot. It was like, I think it was close to $100 back in the 80s, which is like $1 million now. And I just wanted it. Now, the thing is, there was no YouTube back then. So what would have been cool if YouTube existed back then would be able to see a whole bunch of videos about that sort of thing. Like, could you get this expensive thing? But it would have been just as equally interesting to have been able to have watched a YouTuber tell me how to get that same experience out of things I already owned or things I could make for cheap. How do you make your own version of this for cheap? And I think this is where this particular YouTuber could actually get a couple wins here. That's what I had to do when I first started out my YouTube channel. I did a lot of cheap stuff, cheap products and stuff, to varying degrees of success until I could get it rolling and then get things sent to me and whatnot, and then making money on the channel. So,
oh my gosh, Travis, wait! Yeah. I just Googled American Girl doll. Not only are they $125, they're sold out.
They still make them though.
They still make them, and they're
Oh my
sold
gosh.
out.
Sold out from where? Like Target or whatever?
Like, I looked at AmericanGirl.com, and Samantha is one of the, or at least was one of the most popular. $125 sold out to get the doll. Uh-huh.
How about her violin? Does she have a violin?
Wait, let me see if they do still make a violin.
I'm so curious about this. The story arc of this podcast about
They
a
do
toy
have
violin.
the violin set.
How much is it?
$36 for a doll violin.
I'm not gonna lie. The thought went through my mind of buying it and sending it to you by not telling you and just having it show up one day. But then I realized you would have nothing to do. Like, what would you do with it? It's a freaking violin set for a doll you would never use. Like, what is this about?
Mom, is my American Girl doll in storage?
Well, apparently you can get $125 for it, so you might want to try to find it. Anyway, back to the last YouTube email. My gosh. Okay. Here we go. Hi, Jen and Travis. I flipped a coin to determine who would go first. Okay.
Ooh.
So that's a deep cut because that was back when Jen was talking about why does they always say Travis and Jen? Now I'm saying Jen Travis. Okay. I'm one of your listeners who didn't make a single video until I binge listened to your podcast. This is my favorite listen to on my morning drive to work.
Oh my gosh. I just love everyone so much.
I do too, and I'm so sorry it's taken us a couple weeks to get back in your ear holes. But we gotta take time for ourselves too. But don't worry, we're back on it. My channel, Doc Work, is relatively new, focusing on doctoral education and social sciences. It's still early days, and I'm trying to innovate on content that I can attract people to my channel. One idea I had in mind was inviting graduate students onto a podcast type interview video so they could showcase their published research. It helps them get the word out on their research, while it might give my channel exposure to graduate students who need the guidance on navigating PhD or doctorate. To ensure the audience comes to the channel, I'm thinking I should require students to promote the video on their social networks, which might have a minimum size requirement too. But to start out, I may need to interview guests without any strings attached, but I worry that doing so might be a difficult bar to set later on. What are your thoughts on this approach? All the best. No candy corn or Cadbury eggs here in Japan, I think, but the sweets here tend toward the latter. Sorry, Jen. First of all, I love Japanese culture. I am so jealous that this guy's in Japan. I'm like so jealous. I love Japan. I've never been, but I love Japanese culture. Okay. So the question is, and I think this is interesting because you know what immediately makes me think of is the conversation I talk about Legal and how he expanded his audience. Is should you just invite people on? Yeah, I mean, of course. Because by the way, if you've never interviewed people, I've interviewed tons of people, but there's a special skill to it. It's not easy. You can just have a conversation with someone, but sometimes it doesn't come off interesting. So I would get my chops. I would get my reps in by getting people on and just inviting them on and say, hey, they're going to naturally want to share it anyway. Of course, people are going to want, they're going to come on and want to share it to their friends. So you don't even have to think about that. They're going to do that anyway. But once you get it down, like once your interview style is like locked in, because even if you are good at it, it doesn't mean that your first couple episodes will even be locked into where you want it to be anyway. So even if you're like, I can do interviews, I'm really good at it. Well, record it a couple times and I'm sure you're going to hate it. But then after you've locked in and you're like, I love this, I'm a genius at this, then you can do this other thing where you're like looking for.
It's funny because it's true though.
Of course it's true. I'm the smart guy here. I know I've made lots of things I hate. So anyway,
well, that's the truth.
That's how you do it. That you do it and then you tell people about it later.
You don't know what to improve on if you never make it.
This is more than just a little true. So I think the thing is I like the idea. Doctoral education in social services is going to be very super niche, which means your total addressable audience is going to be pretty small. That's okay if and I can't imagine you'd be wanting to really reach anyone beyond that, because who else is even going to understand what that means, let alone be, impacted by it. But just keep that in mind, that viewership's going to be kind of low. Look at what the total addressable market is, and then also understand that a lot of people don't even know that exists. So if, let's say, and I did this analysis with Legal Eagle's channel, where how he grew his channel from, a very small channel that was based specifically on law school students. His first couple of videos were that. And the reason why he's so big now isn't because he kept doing videos for law school students. It's because he did other things that were in a Venn diagram sort of way connected to law, but we're talking to a much larger audience. Now, if you don't care about that, and maybe in this particular case might be the smart move, then keep doing what you're doing. I think the interview thing sounds cool. Bring in super learned people. That's the actual word, learned. Bring in super learned people who are very smart and have all types of props and the things they've done and tell incredible accomplishments. Bring those on. But if you're going, oh, but I want to be a 100,000 subscriber channel, it's going to be a little bit tougher, which means you're going to have to go more broad based and more interesting to people who are not trying to get their doctorate. So again, depends on what you're looking for. I think what you're trying to do right now sounds fine. Definitely invite people on, get them going, and then you can ask them later to share it. Thoughts behind all this, Jen?
I think that everything you're saying is spot on, and I think that this just comes back to the conversation of measuring success by numbers. Like, you don't have to be that 100K channel. You can make like just as much, if not more, than creators that have numbers like that, just based off of the engagement within your videos, having such a dedicated audience that is watching through the entire video, that is more inclined to purchase things if you sell them. If you're doing consulting, probably going to buy that. Like, that can be so much more beneficial than just being like, well, I want to have a 100,000K channel because 100,000K.
100,000K, that's a lot. That's a million. 100,000K is like a million or 10 million. It's a lot.
But that doesn't mean the same level of success. I see a lot of analytics. Travis sees a lot of analytics. It's crazy to see a creator that has a fraction of the views and subscribers make more than someone who has a play button. It's nuts.
Yes. And I know some of those people. So I'm just saying, this is very true.
Don't feel like you have to have that level of a channel if that's one of the driving forces behind why you're making the content that you are.
Totally.
Also,
agree.
I thought of a Lego idea for this creator. I know we don't do enough, but I'm like, if we're budget, like why don't we start buying some used Lego pieces and start putting them together to see if all the pieces are there?
You could do that. I know people selling their stuff on eBay and stuff. Absolutely.
Facebook Marketplace Lego sets. I'm like, I see like puzzles and stuff sold secondhand all the time, and I'm like, I'm not buying that. There's definitely a piece missing. But like,
yeah. But you could. That would make an interesting
but you
thing.
could, because when it comes to a video, it's like, I'm gonna watch someone to see if, like, I don't know, was it all there? Did you just save like $100? And like,
exactly. And people, again, if this is a Lego channel, you could go, well, what's the difference between the real ones and the fake ones? So just buy one fake, like the knockoff ones, and then just do a comparison video of like what the difference is. People want to know that. That would get good.
Yeah,
views
those can be the high effort videos of the real versus fake Legos, like the really popular sets that are gonna generate a crowd like that. Or if you're really smart or fancy, can you build multiple things with a Lego set?
All right, now you're breaking my brain. All right,
sorry, I don't know.
This was a great episode to come back to. We hope that y'all are excited to hear us again. We are back, and we're going to be pushing forward real hard this year, and looking forward to all the new things that we'll be bringing you. This is a new season 6, I think it is, and super excited to do an entire year helping you guys and gals grow your channel. So we'll see you in the next one. Make sure if you're on here on the YouTube channel, hit subscribe. If you're on the audio podcast and you're on a platform like Apple Podcast that allows you to leave a review, do that thing. Give us the 5 stars, and we will see y'all.
Nothing less.
Only 5.
Only 5 stars around here.
Or you can send me a Cadbury egg, whichever comes first. We'll see you in the next one.